Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's Rick Utzer here again with AirgunwebTV. We are live, and we're happy to be here, and we've got a very packed night. I mean, theoretically, it's packed. I guess it'll all depend on how many questions we get, if we get through it all, or maybe we get through it all quickly. I don't know, but we do have a lot of things to discuss tonight. So, first of all, thank you guys for coming on and hanging out with me for an hour. We're going to talk air guns, and the title of today's show is New Air Guns for 2022. I mean, that seems a little bit late in the game, but, you know, hearing about new air guns and actually having new air guns in your hand, very, very different things. And manufacturers and vendors are finding the difficulty this year and being able to actually, you have this great idea, great concept, great gun, but getting it produced and to your actual warehouse and store shelves, that's been a whole nother challenge. Well, we've got some cool things happening, and we have some new guns we're going to be talking about today. Some of these guns are things that you guys have really been wanting to know about, and other things are brand new, maybe have not heard about at all. And I know there's probably one. I know there's some people know about it because I've already been emailed or I've already been messaged over YouTube about this particular gun. So we'll save that one here in a few minutes. Before we get started, I was going to tell the story last week, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it this week because it was really cool. And hopefully you guys will stick with me through this. Good evening, everybody. We've got people joining in. Please, if you have questions, throw them up there. I'll get to them as best I can. Angie's there, and she can go ahead and she can answer a lot of questions if you guys have them. She throw them there in the chat, and I'll make Angie work for her money. Anyway, one of the cool things, and I talked about this last week, one of the cool things at the Daisy Nationals was the barter barn, and it is pandemonium. I've got a whole video on that segment of the event, which I'll be probably sometime in August. We'll have footage from the Daisy Nationals. It was very, very cool. But what happens essentially is you have hundreds and hundreds of people. Maybe I have a picture I can show you. Let me just see if I've got something. I know I do. I just may have to download it. Let me just see what I've got here. I put all my stuff in one place. Do I have a picture? I don't. Let me grab one real quick because you guys really aren't going to get the scope of what I'm talking about unless I show you a picture. So let me do that real quick, and you guys will get an idea of the pandemonium that is Barter Barn. But while I'm looking for this, I'll tell you guys basically what you've got is you've got this whole massive event where you've got, there we go, maybe some of these pictures are be where I need, where these kids are basically trading products, one product for another product. I got a picture of Keith from Gamo. I'll have to show that another day. And they are essentially, I don't have any pictures here. Man, I don't know where I put them. Well, I don't have a picture here. I'll show you guys later. There's hundreds of people in a room. There's all these tables, and there's just stuff piled on the table. It could be gumdrops. It could be, I saw onions. People were trading onions. They were Valdea onions, which are pretty cool. But they had everything from stickers to skulls to bones to hot sauce. It didn't matter. You could come up with somebody with a pen and say, hey, can I have that jar of hot sauce? And probably they're going to say yes, because no money changes hands. It's all about, do you have what the other person wants? And the person, I've got to show you this picture. I actually have to do this. So Keith might get mad at me, but I hopefully he's got a good sense of humor. But I'm going to share this one with you because it's just funny as heck. This was the president of Gamo, CEO, president, I'm not sure his exact title. He'll probably smack me. He always gives me a hard time. Probably smack me next time I see him. But let me show you this image. Oh, you know what? I could just pull it up here. So this is an example of what happens at the barter barn. There's Keith having a good old time, and this is all the stuff he's traded for piles and piles of stuff at the Gamo table. Guns, knives, cups, just you name it. They had a bunch of scopes, like boxes and boxes of scopes that they're just giving away as part of this thing. And so there's Keith. He has a good old time, but he drives the hardest of bargains. Let me tell you, there are so many kids that walked away with a tear in their eye because Keith wouldn't give them that thing they wanted. So he is a hard negotiator for sure. And I ought to know because, yeah, I work for the guy, so I know he's a hard negotiator. Anyway, so the one of the things that happened is my daughter was really excited about this, and she had painted a gun, and that's actually a gun she painted. She did painted the stock, kind of put some cool pictures on the stock, and that was at her table. And I tell you, it drew quite a huge crowd of people that wanted it. And that young man actually is the one who was able to pry it from my daughter's table. But there's a story behind this, and I want to say a shout out to a young man named Luke. I believe I have the name right. If I don't, I'll get it right. I'll make a correction. There was a young man that really wanted that gun, and Naomi sent him off to find a whole bunch of stuff. And he came back with a good bit of it. But this young man had something that really my daughter just went nuts over. And so she said, if you can go get me some knives with this, you can have the gun. And the young man that had been on this quest to get the gun had got some knives. And he turned to this young man and said, you know what? Here, take my knives, and you have the gun. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a parent, right? Obviously, there's my daughter there on the left. And, you know, when you see your child take out of his winnings and give to another child with nothing in return, just so that other child could get something they really wanted, look, it touches your heart. It really does. And what you saw in the event is this over and over and over and over again, that the shooting competition was like, it was a big part. Don't get me wrong. It was a huge part of the thing. But there was so much more under the surface that really stood out. And this young man that did this, that made it so this guy here could get the gun, I spoke to his mom. I spoke to him, and I said, I was so impressed with what you did. I've got a gun, I'm sure, back at the shop. We're going to get Naomi to paint it for you, and we're going to give it away, or we're going to send it to you. So I picked the gun out this weekend. Naomi's going to be painting it. Once she gets that done, I'll show you guys what she's done with the gun, because she does pretty good work. I mean, she's can be a little sloppy and messy, but she does a pretty good job, and I think it'll be really cool. But that young man impressed the heck out of me and my wife too, because I mean, that's just, you don't see that every day. You don't see that sort of, especially in, I don't know, I don't see it every day. Maybe you do, but I certainly don't. And it was very, very cool. So I wanted to say a shout out to that young man and his family. We got you covered. I know we've been emailing back and forth, and they may or may not be watching tonight, but I've got you covered. We've got a really cool gun picked up. In fact, we've got a Gamo Swarm for you, so it's better than what was in the case. It's in 22 cal. I got a ton of extra mags, so you're going to be set up and good to go, and I'll let you know when it's ready. So I'll show you guys the picture when Naomi gets done with it, but it was very, very cool. It was just a cool function of that event that I didn't get a chance to share with you guys last week that I wanted to share with you this week. Okay, so let's move on to some airgun stuff. The first things first, we just did a video on the Seneca Dragonfly, and this gun right here, if you guys haven't watched the video, go watch it. It's just on my main channel. It's the most recent one, right yesterday before this one. Who here, and you guys can jump on here. Yes, Richard, there's new airguns coming out. Wait, you're gonna hope you guys will like it. I'm reading some of the questions and I don't have some of the answers. Anyway, who here remembers shooting the Benjamin Sheridan? I may have talked about that last week. It was one of the first pump guns I ever shot. My dad had them. I wasn't supposed to touch them, but I did anyway. But that gun sort of was very, very cool. Now, there is like, there is the, like, is it still called the Sheridan? They have parts for the Sheridan, but no. Okay, so they don't. Let me go back. The Benjamin Sheridan isn't made anymore. There is a pump-up crosswinds made that's sort of like it, but I actually got that gun into review, and it was so pitiful that I didn't say I refused to. I requested not to review it because I couldn't use the sights. Just everything about that gun. It's like an engineer threw it together, but never actually shot it. And I wish I could say I don't see that often, but I actually see that more often than not. But anyway, that wood, it was all plastic too. The wood and steel heavy duty pump action, multi-pump with hunting power airgun has not, in my opinion, been around for a while. The Dragonfly was really the first time we saw that come out. The Dragonfly is multi-shot. It has a lot of things that the Sheridan didn't have. It's multi-shot. You put a scope on it, etc., etc. But as always, it was very hard to cock. The gun was just really tough, and you get a few pumps in, no problem. You get 6, 7, 8, 10 pumps, and you're working hard. So I'm glad that they've come up with a system. It's called, and they've got a chart here, I guess, which shows it, that the pumping force remains the same right here. So from pump 1 to pump 15, it's the same. And having a guy, myself, done it, I mean, I can tell you it's absolutely the case that it's the first pump is just as easy as the last pump. And I mentioned this on the video, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but having had heart surgery, having all this cut open, this isn't yet back to normal. And I would never been able to do that video with a standard one that didn't have the new butterfly system. And I think I called it the Dragonfly system in the video. That was my error. But they're going to have a picture of it here. They got to. There it is. So this is the new butterfly system with this gun that makes this like, you know, if you're a survival person or a prepper, this is a great option. It's not single shot sort of thing, but it is good power, good consistency. I haven't taken it apart. Don't know how to rebuild or serviceability. That's the word. But I will tell you that it is accurate, hits hard, and you can put a suppressor on it right out of the gate, which is cool. Just a really, really nice gun. If you haven't seen it, check out my video. We did crony numbers. We did DB numbers. I got those wrong, but fortunately we had the picture and fixed it. And we did accuracy. And I was shooting at like 26 yards, or 25, 26 yards, whatever it was. And I don't, this probably can go further. I would imagine it can. And maybe I haven't been asked to return it yet. This is technically PyramydAir's gun. But I may, and I've been thinking about this, put a moderator on it and actually shoot it at, go ahead and shoot it at range just to see what we can get. Now, the one thing, and I was sort of kidding around with Heath on the comments of the video, and I'll share it with you guys. This thing would be very cool. Can you imagine? I mean, for all you old timers, hardcore enthusiasts, number crunching kind of guys, what if PyramydAir did a 20 cal like anniversary edition of something like this, where like an homage back to the old Blue Streak in 20 cal with some, I floated that idea to them. I don't know if they'll do it, but I think it would be very cool. I don't know that it'd be a big seller, but as a novelty, not novelty, but as a specialty gun, unique, I think there are some folks that would eat it up, would absolutely love it. So if you think that a 20 cal Dragonfly would be awesome, email PyramydAir and say, hey, I saw Rick talking about this. We think it's a great idea. Maybe they'll do it. Maybe they'll get mad at me for mentioning it. I don't know. But I think it's a cool idea. So I wanted to share it with you guys. Let me take, let's see what we got coming down here. I'm curious, Backyard, how many shots you got in, how many pumps you got in before it let go on you. That would be good to know. Yeah, you've got your Backyard, your Grandpa's Silver Streak. I had one. I traded those off. I could. I just don't care to pump them. Regular conversations going on. Let's see. G-Man's asking if the Dragonfly is a pump version of the Diana Stormrider. Yeah, basically, absolutely. It's. I will say this: the wood stock and the weight is really good. I mean, it really feels like you've got a quality air gun in your hand. It does not feel cheap at all. So I'm very impressed with this. So let's move on to our next new gun, Less than 100 shots. Really, that's very, very curious. I had way more than that in my test gun and haven't had any problems. So that's very curious that you're having that issue. I'm hopeful. Hopefully, you've reported it to PyramydAir, and they're working on some sort of solution. Yeah, I've got at least a couple hundred shots in mine, and I haven't had any problems. It's been working really, really well. Okay, let's get to the next air gun, and I'm going to jump over to the newest Gamo. This is you guys have been asking about the G3, right? What's the Gen 3 about? What's the Gen 3 about? Well, essentially the Gen 3, and I thought this was the case. I know for sure now. It deals specifically with the magazine. So the inertia mag that Gamo came out with was designed to only advance when it feels the gun recoil. The first go around of the inertia mag didn't always cycle on lower power gun. Worked great on the Magnum. You put it in the Fusion or something less, and it wouldn't always advance, and that would cause you to dry fire the gun. It's not good for you. So they really went to work on perfecting that inertia magazine. So basically any gun in their lineup now, as you can see, before they would not have bundled the inertia mag with the yeah, that's not a Magnum. I'll have to get with Gamo. That's a misprint. This is just the. There's the Magnum. There's the bone collector. There's the Fusion. So the Fusion and the bone collector, those guns may not have cycled it properly. So now you've got all of their guns from the Maxim to the bone collector Fusion all the way up to the Magnum. All will now use the the G3 inertia driven mags. The benefit to that is, and if you've ever worked with one of these multi-shot break barrels, including the original like Gamos, if you cock it and then return the barrel, the magazine's advanced to a slot where you have a pellet in there. And it's easier than you think to grab your gun and then, you cock it, you go to take a shot, you're like, man, okay, the shot's gone. And you're walking around, oh, there's another shot, and you go to cock the gun again. Now you've just jammed 2 pellets in your gun, and it's easier to do than, as I said, it's easier to do than you might think. And I don't know about any other gun other than one that you have to manually move the pellet. Anything that's auto-feeding now these days, I don't believe they have that inertia thing because it's patented. But this is something they've done which is very cool, and it helps prevent, is it possible to double feed if you bump the little red button on the mag? I mean, yes, you can double feed it if you do it on purpose. But it really helps lower the probability of those double feeds, which is just good for the gun. It's actually really, really good for your gun not to dry fire it or not to drive 2 pellets in it. So it's a great feature. I'm tickled to see that they brought it across the platform. And for you guys that are going to ask a question, do I have one? Actually, I do. I've got the Gamo G3. I can't touch guns on a YouTube live, or I'd show you all the cool stuff that's right behind me in the office, but I can't do it. So sorry. They'll kick me off the chat. They'll kick me off the live if I dare touch a gun on a YouTube live. But I've got the Gamo Magnum Swarm Gen3i. Sorry, my nose itches today. So we're going to be getting to that pretty soon. I've also got. I did not pull this up, but I'm going to search for the winter. Now, I talked about this before. I've talked about this in a previous video. The Gamo Hunter Extreme, if you guys are old school, say in 12, 15 years, that's not really old school. Okay, old school for me, I guess. But if you're back into like the mid 2000s and you opened up Cabela's and you're looking at the airgun section and you're seeing the Gamo Hunter Extreme, and then you go search it and you're seeing people killing pigs, which I don't recommend. That's really stupid to try and do that with a 177. Don't go do that. I don't care what the videos show you. But you see this, it really drove the desire to have an ultra magnum brake barrel. There were regular brake barrels, magnum brake barrels, and then there was this ultra magnum level, which was brand new, pioneered here by this massively awesome, hugely powerful Gamo Hunter Extreme. Well, that gun's been gone for a while. I saw this on their website sometime back and requested it. They finally got some back in stock. I have this in the studio as well, and I'm going to tell you, this is one, I haven't done it on paper yet, but I have done a little target shooting, and I did do a little pest shooting, and holy moly, is this thing awesome. And I am probably not going to put a scope on it. This is going to be my close range around the ranch pest elimination gun. It is awesome. The sights are great. The power is significant. We're going to get it on the Crony here at some point. Accuracy seems pretty good. Again, I haven't put it on paper, but I'm hitting rocks that are 30, 40 yards away with ease. Just a really awesome air gun. And it's I would prefer it to be a Springer. It isn't. It's a gas ram. But the thing that really blew my mind, oh gosh, did the price go up? Let me see. It was, they had it on sale. Oh no. It was on sale for less. Well, maybe there's a coupon somewhere I don't know anything about. But at $300, this is still a dynamite air gun. But anyway, take a look at this. This thing is a beast. Let me go back to it. And I'm excited to have both the Gen 3 Swarm Magnum and also this gun in. And I'm not done yet. I have another Gamo, and this is another story. If you guys remember the hunting, actually, let me just pull this up because I took this picture. This is just a funny picture. All right, see that picture of Tony there holding the iguana? Yeah, I took that picture when we were in Fort Lauderdale. Angie's asking, she's being a smart butt. I was shooting rocks that big, Angie, just so you know. They were small rocks. They weren't like the big rocks at the T-junction or up here at Top Rock. They were. She's been at the ranch. She knows what I'm talking about. They were little rocks. But fair question. But there's Tony after he just killed a nice size iguana. Get back over to here. I got distracted with Angie's question. I hate when that happens. All right, we're just going to move on. Oh, I remember now. So I was at this iguana hunt, and the guy who runs the Gamo website happened to be there. His name's Jordy. I'm going to give you his personal phone number. You guys can call him up. No. Anyway, so Jordy was there saying, Jordy, please talk to Gamo. They're leaving power on the table. You've got this Magnum power plant. You've got this Gamo Magnum in 22 that I believe you're leaving power on the table. 25 is like the best, I think, personally, the optimal caliber for this gun. It's sort of like the difference between a Hatsan 125, 22, and a 25. The 25 is a better gun, in my opinion. It's got more power. I found it to be more accurate, have better range, better consistency. I thought the 25 was better because you're making the most of the power plant. I'll say, please, take your Gamo Magnum. You guys used to do 25 cal. This is not rebuilding the wheel for you. You don't have to reinvent anything here. You just got to add the barrel to it. Well, he called me all excited, and he said, have I got something to show you? And so I'm going to show you guys. Now, Angie has done a video on the 22 cal version. They now have a 25 cal version, and I am super pumped to get my hands on this gun. It is on the way, from what I'm told. One is coming in. So I've got like overloaded now with some really cool. I've got the Arrow I'm still working with. I've got the Gen3i. I've got the, heck, I've still got the Bone Collector 2 I should do some more work with. I've got the Hunter Extreme Pro, and now I've got the 25 cal. I have got a ton of cool stuff from Gamo I'm going to be playing with over the next few months. So expect to see a bunch of videos. I may release some of them on the GTA as grip reviews. I don't know how that's going to play out yet, but very, very cool stuff. And going back to something that I'm going to get to, I have every hope that August we're going to start being able to revive our contest section for GTA. We're going to publicize it here. Everybody's open to enter the contest. So it's not, you don't have to be a member of the GTA. We'd love for you to join the GTA, but you don't have to be a member. But we've got the 22 cal that Angie worked with and even did the tune-on tube with. That's a prize, and we've got to give that away. So we've got some of that stuff in the works. Again, my hope is the month of August, I've got probably a handful of things we're going to be stacking in a big bunch of prizes as we go into the fall. So be ready. We'll be talking about those here shortly. Let me take a look here. Do we have any? Heath is saying, oh, the Gamo brake barrel's quiet. There's always going to be mechanical noise at the brake barrel. The Fusion, if you want quiet, the Fusion's your gun. It is ridiculously quiet and really probably my favorite gun. It's certainly not the most powerful, but for backyard, 25, 30 yard shooting, I am a huge fan of the Fusion. I did a video of that here recently. I've got one dropping on Thursday of the Fusion 177, and I've got one out there on the 22. Let me just show you. This is the Fusion. They've got them as kits, right? So, oh, you guys are looking at right, so they've got these kits, which are pretty cool, but these, I think, are really, really nice guns. Wow, they got one with no scope. That must have just been an extra. Oh, by the way, I do believe for those people that were interested, the Coyotes are back in stock. Yeah, okay, so if you've been waiting to look at a Gamo Coyote because you thought this was like a really cool gun, you wanted to get one, they've been out of stock forever. They're back in stock. So that's another gun I have not. I'm probably going to be getting one. I'm trying to get one to actually get one sent to Angie, rather. And I'd really love her to have a 177 and a 22 because the 177 like shoots for days on a fill. It's really, really good. But if you want a quiet brake barrel, Heath, take a look at the Fusion. Really, really nice air gun. Okay, any other questions? That's a good use for the 95. So the Hots on 95 Al's saying here. Richard just got the email about the 25. G-Man's asking us for some Gamo ammo testing. I've got a bunch of Gamo ammo that I've received. I would imagine that I will do a video of a bunch of ammo. I think doing a Gamo ammo video is a worthwhile use of my time and good. Whether it shoots well or not, we should do it. So I'm pleased to do that. Don't know when I'll do it, but I will get to that. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, the price increase on the Coyotes, sorry about that. They've gone up, but so has basically everything else. If you haven't noticed, it's pretty awful. Bone Collector, noise on the Bone Collector in 22 is decent. It's louder, mechanically louder than the Fusion. I want to say, and I might be wrong, that it has a slightly more powerful RAM, but it probably doesn't. It just has a bigger cylinder. If you guys understand the physics of a brake barrel, if you want more power, there's only a couple ways you can do it. A faster delivery of the RAM, so the air gets compressed to a higher pressure before it shoots the pellet out, so it's a more powerful RAM. Or more air, which you got to make the cylinder either longer or thicker, or wider, bigger. The interior diameter needs to be larger, whatever. And so they took the Gamo, the Bone Collector 2, and they increased the size of the cylinder while keeping the gun short. So I took a Maxim and put a bigger cylinder on it, which gave them the extra power. That's how they got the extra juice out of that. I don't know if it has a bigger RAM, a more powerful RAM. If it is, it's a fraction, but I don't think it is really, not thinking about it. But mechanically, it's louder. I don't know why the Fusion's so quiet, and I believe it puts out noticeably less power, and that's why I think there may be a RAM difference besides just the cylinder difference, but or the compression chamber difference. But anyway, so it's on my videos. I'm gonna have DB numbers if you watch them, or Angie's videos for the Gen 2. There's DB numbers on those, so check those out. Let's see here. What's the difference between a Coyote and an Urban? Matt, that's a good question. It's power and size and stock. So the Coyote is longer barrel, wood stock, more power. If the 22 cal, I'm going to just use numbers that represent the type of difference. I may be off on the exact numbers, forgive me, but this is accurate in the scale. If the 22 Coyote, the 22 Urban is doing about 20 foot-pounds, the Coyote is going to do slightly over 30. So it's a lot more power in the Coyote. Bigger air cylinder, too, so you get not as many shots as, well, probably about as many as you get in the Urban, just far more powerful. So that's the differences there. Both are made by BSA, last I checked, or last I knew. And both are very good guns. Just one is more backyard, plinking, very budget conscious, and the other is more enthusiast conscious with more power, much nicer stock, and a longer profile. Umarex Notos. I was actually supposed to go to, I don't know how to pronounce it. I was actually supposed to go to Umarex on my trip. Unfortunately, both my wife and daughter tested positive for COVID on the trip, and I was not going to take, I tested negative, but I wasn't going to go into Umarex knowing that I basically living with people that were tested positive for COVID. I canceled my trip. So I am talking to their marketing department. I will be back to see them at some point. Don't know when that'll happen, but I'm going to go spend some time in their range, do some videos. We're going to have some fun. That'll be a good time. So we'll see when that happens. Let's see. Yeah, G-Man, that's a good way to describe it. Short stroke Magnum, that would be correct. The battery compressor is doing awesome. I don't know if Dave is up here because he got one too, but the battery compressor I love that thing. I use it when I go shoot at the range. I just pull it out, set it on the table, and that's what fills my guns while I go change targets or whatever. I love it. Speaking of compressors, Angie had one. It's a new compressor company we haven't worked with before. I had it sent to her. She's doing a GTA video on it. So if you want to see information on that compressor, Angie, maybe you could put a link to the compressor in the chat if you want. But she's got this video going up, I think Saturday. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know how it is. But she says the compressor is nice. So it's your typical 12 volt / 110 volt type system. So it's another offering in that line, in that sort of genre. We'll see how it does in the market. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be hard to get that to the Philippines there, backyard plinking. Okay, next new gun. Our next new thing. Let me do a new thing versus a new gun. And you guys may have seen an email or may have seen the header on PyramydAir's website, but they have a new sub-MOA challenge. I have not read the rules on this yet, but I am going to be, I can't win anything because I work with PyramydAir, so I mean, they're a sponsor, so, but I am going to be submitting entries. I don't know how it works, but I got to read the rules. But you get this free card, right? So you get this card that it's hard to see it. It's anyway, you guys get so it's here. But there's a picture of it on the website, and it's clear, right? So it's translucent. You have your shot group. You put the card on top of the shot group, and are you sub-MOA? And on the back, they have a little ledger. So, well, one MOA is actually not, 1 inch is not technically an MOA at 100 yards, but it's close enough. It's splitting hairs otherwise. But they've got these denominations, like at 25 yards, it's a 1/4 inch is sub-MOA. 50 yards, 1/2 inch is equals 1 MOA. 75 yards, 3/4 inch equals 1 MOA, and 1 inch at 100 is 1 MOA. And so they're saying they want you to try and shoot sub MOA groups at those ranges, and then you can use this to actually measure your group. So I think that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be really awesome. I think that we ought to get the GTA involved and everybody that's members there, and we ought to have our own, using their card, referencing their stuff, encouraging people to enter the challenge. But we can also have some fun on the GTA, doing the same sort of thing and just encouraging people to participate and win some cool stuff. So I'm looking to check some things out on how all this works. And that is a great segue to the next thing in the new airgun market, because I have two more airguns I want to talk to you guys about. One is the new, I'm not saying it's the best, but I'm saving the one that's most interesting to me in the perspective of I don't have one. I don't have this brand personally, and I'm looking forward to spending time with it. I've worked out an arrangement with PyramydAir to be able to hold on to this for an indefinite period of time. So I'm very excited. It's not this gun, but it'll be the one after. The next gun, however, is the DAR Gen3. This is another gun that I have sitting in the shop. It came in the other day, and it's so hot right now. I'm going to have to figure out when I can shoot, because I got to shoot first thing in the morning or in the evenings after dinner. So it's probably going to be in the evenings. But this guy is on my short list, one of the first guns I'm going to be testing along with the Gamos and everything else. But the DAR Gen3 looks really, really cool. I loved the Gen 2. The Gen 3, I haven't got the list of improvements. I've emailed them. I'm waiting to hear back on what those are. And we'll probably, I'm going to try and see if I can get their marketing guy to come on with us and us do a live show together. We'll see if that works out or not. But, 25 cal, can we shoot sub MOA? I mean, that's going to be the key, right? At what distance can we shoot sub MOA out to? I think that would be a really, really cool test. Maybe do one shot. I can maybe create a shot card that has 25, 50, 75, and 100 with different size bulls, and then take that one card, run a gun through it. Gosh, that's a good idea. I wonder if, tell me what you think. What if, like the GTA, we take a card and I can make it where we have bulls, 4 bulls on a page, and you're going to shoot starting at 25 yards, 50, 75, and 100, and each bull gets a little bigger. And then you can measure your groups and see if any of them are sub MOA and just run guns through that type of a test. That would be pretty cool. I mean, I have a 100-yard range. It'd be easy for me to do that. Maybe a little tougher for Angie. She could do 50 yards for sure. Anyway, let me know. You guys let me know what you think about that, because I can make that target up pretty easy and have a GTA MOA target type of a deal, and we can work with PyramydAir with their little target or their little MOA sizer to know if we're hitting sub MOA or not. I think that would be cool. Let's see here, Bruce. If you're asking me if I have the DAR 3, I do have. Yeah, that's in it. Ships in a nice case. It is really. I'm looking forward to shooting it. It's really, as I'm looking at it and feeling it and cycling the action, which is really nice. If I were looking at a Marauder or a DAR, there would be no contest. The DAR would win hands down. So, and it's cheaper. So I think, well, depending on what model you get, but I think this is going to be a great shooting air gun. If it shoots better than the Gen 2, which I'm told it does, then this is going to be a great video. This is my gun to keep. So it's not going to be one and done. I'm going to be doing like the whole range time pellet testing fun and then serious review. We'll be running this thing through the paces over the next several months. So this is going to be exciting. The last thing, let's see. Gee, man. No, it doesn't use Ryobi batteries. They want it to last. But anyway, that was just me poking fun. Let's switch screens here. I need like a drum roll. A lot of folks have really wanted me to look at this particular brand, and frankly, it's been really hard to get a gun. from them, like impossible. And even when I'm working through my regular sponsors, it's very difficult because they have such a limited inventory that they'd rather sell it. And this brand needs no marketing because they already have so much market share in this particular genre. So when I had the opportunity to get one with an agreement I did with PyramydAir, super pumped. So this is like my last share with you guys on the new air guns. This is not really maybe new to the market, certainly new to me. And I'm getting the FX Dreamline Dream-Tact carbon fiber bottle with the DAR moderator. And it is, I've already taken it out of the box, put the stock on it. This thing is light as a feather. I cannot wait to take this out and do some shooting. I did, I think, get the last 25 cal. And here's what I was thinking. I've got several chassis guns. I don't have an Air Arms 22 or 25 chassis gun, but I've got the Catron, I've got the Gunner, I've got the, what else do I got? Chassis. The Catron, Gunner. Now I've got the Dreamline. Do I have another 25? I'm trying to think. I don't think I have another 25. If I could get a 25 cal Air Arms in this sort of AR style chassis, that would be, I'm trying to put together this batch of guns in similar price points. Now, the Gunner is still a favorite gun of mine. I know a lot of people, Richard asked you about the Aircudas. Yes, we're talking August. Everything's been delayed. They're sitting in boats. But I did talk to my contact at JTS. We should see those in August. You are not the only one waiting to get those in for sure. I am looking at really the different chassis guns, at least that I own. The least expensive one is the Gunner in 25. I really like that gun for $1,000. I think it's a great shooting air gun. I wish it was a little bit easier to get more power out of it. I'd love to see it close to 60 foot-pounds, but it just doesn't get there. Not at least in my Haji. I need you to do some work with the Gunner, please. Can you do something with the valve, hammer spring something to get that into the 60 foot-pound range? Would be really nice. I'd appreciate it. Just putting in my request there. But then we would go up to like the Catron, which would be in the $1,200–1,300 range. And now we're sitting here at $1,600. In the big picture, there's a big difference between $1,000 and $1,600. I get it. But in the big picture, I can tell you that the feature set in the, and I haven't shot it yet. I have not gotten this to the range. This is what's on my agenda. I've just got so many cool guns to be playing with here. Do they have any other pictures? No? Come on, they've got other pictures. They don't. Well, okay. That's a shame. All right, so you've got a power adjuster here, hammer spring adjuster here. Underneath, you've got a regulator adjuster. So you've got all this adjustment all externally, and you can change the barrel and calibers by changing the pellet pusher and the barrel. So you have this platform very much sort of like the JSTAR Raptor, and frankly, at I think a lower price point. Sorry, JSTAR. I'm very excited to see how this gun performs, especially in the MOA contest. And I really, really, really want. I mean, my dream. Yeah, I'm right with you guys. They're expensive. They're highly marketed on YouTube and whatnot, which is why there's been no incentive for FX to send me a gun. They don't need to, which is fine. I'm thrilled that PyramydAir was willing to work with me on this project. So to allow me to be able to have this gun for, again, in a very extended period of time. I'll put that in air quotes. I'm very, very excited. Thank you, PyramydAir, for doing that. And if you guys, I know you guys know, if you've watched any of my videos, gosh, PyramydAir has been a sponsor since 2019. You do the math, it's a long time to have a relationship with a company like that. And they've been very good to be extremely flexible and great to work with. So thank you to Val all the folks that I work with over there, thank you for, years of working together. So enough of that. If you need something really cool and you want to buy a new air gun or cool stuff, check it out, PyramydAir. I say it all the time. Great folks. Anyway, I'm very excited to have all of these new guns, from the everything from like the $200 Dragonfly, which I think is like such a great gun. I mean, really, if you're an enthusiast air gunner, you really want to have that for your collection. It's worth it. All the new Gamos, I think, again, from an enthusiast perspective, the new Gamo Hunter Extreme Pro is stinking awesome. I really want them to do that in a 25, and I'm really trying to push them to a 30, because, boy, I'd love to see a 30 in some of those actions. That would be pretty nice. I mean, it'd be more of a novelty, but it still would be nice. And up close, it would be pretty awesome. Anyway, I'd love to see another 25 cal Hunter Extreme Pro or Hunter Extreme. And we've got the new Gen 3i. So there's 3 really cool guns. 2 of them are special order only on the Gamo USA website. So check out the links in the video description. They're down there. The DAR 25, back to that gun for just a moment. I think that's going to be one of my first videos here, along with the Gamos. I'm very excited to work with that gun, get some numbers, get some accuracy, but super pumped about this gun. And I happen to know that there's other things coming down the pipe with DAR that I think are going to be really exciting. And I'm happy to say that the relationship we have with them and Gateway to Airguns is growing and becoming something that's going to be really exciting over the next, hopefully the next forever. But we've got some really cool things coming. So Angie, get ready. You're going to have some cool stuff to play with. I know that just bugs you to no end, right? All right, let's see what we got here. Any big questions here? Keith is being funny. Let's see. I think that's a lot of the questions there are you guys talking amongst yourself. I don't know if I've got a lot of other things to discuss tonight. Other than I'm just really pumped to see all this new stuff. And I'm looking to incorporate some cool new options on the GTA. I'd like to get, and we talked about this last week, where we have some community shoots and some prizes and that kind of stuff. So I'm looking to do that. And I just want to make the Airgun community far more inclusive and less exclusive. So if we can all work to that end, and if you love the Marauder, and I kind of tease the Marauder a little bit, don't take offense, and I won't take offense if you pick on my air arms or other things. The point is that if you love air guns, you love getting out shooting, that's all that matters, right? And who cares what brand you like over another one? Just get out there and have fun. Let's give each other the space to like what we like and have a good time doing it. Guys, unless there's any other questions, I'm gonna beg out a little early tonight. And I'd love to say I'm gonna go shoot because it's still nice out, but I've got like a mountain of admin work this week that has me not able to shoot much. And I'm really sad about that. So I hope to be doing some shooting before the end of the week or this weekend, because I got to show you guys all these cool new air guns, and it's pretty stinking awesome. Guys, that's going to be it for now. This is Rick here with AirgunWeb, your home for old school airgun reviews. I'm like doing a video and where we tell you the facts, not fluff. That's the wrong video. Sorry. But thank you guys for hanging out here for almost an hour and just blowing some time and shooting the breeze and talking about air guns, because I sure liked it. And thank you guys for all your comments. And yeah, we're going to wrap it up. Angie, be ready. We got a bunch of cool stuff happening. You guys, please go check Angie's videos out at GTA. If you haven't signed up, please do sign up. But join the GTA YouTube channel at some point, and it's probably not going to be in that near distant future. All of the grip reviews will be on the GTA. We will not be publishing them again on AirgunWeb. Not in the same volume. We've been trying to give you guys a taste of what the GTA is doing with grip and what Angie's been doing, because it's different than what I'm doing. And so if you like that, you like seeing Angie shoot air guns, and I think she does a great job, please, please, please subscribe to the GTA YouTube page. The link's in the video description. And that way you can get that content, which will be different than my content. And we'll be able to just grow that, because we'd love to get some more subscribers and really see that channel grow out. Guys, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye.